In what may seem like ineffective law enforcement in the southern parts of the country or the crisis of ungoverned spaces in the northern part, banditry has come to mean extortion, robbery, kidnapping and other illegal activities by unscrupulous persons who seek economic enrichment. Now, about 21 million people living in Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina are said to have been exposed to insecurity from activities of bandits. Now, while this state may have been the only one initially, other states have also had records of these activities, and that's our focus on this episode of Special Report. You're welcome. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Rural banditry in the northwestern states began as farmers-herders conflict around 2011 and became more prominent in 2017. There are records of bandits terrorizing villages, carrying out cattle rustling, kidnapping for ransom, sexual violence and killings with the aim of making economic gains. They are believed to set up fortified enclaves in the hinterland and on frontiers, from where they plot and carry out their operations. On several occasions, bandits have invaded communities whose inhabitants are merely peasant farmers, killing and destroying their homes. The attacks have left in its wake mass graves springing up everywhere, deserted communities and thousands of internally displaced persons.
The bandits came and touched our houses and left. Some people told me what happened. They went to their respective houses to remove what was left. I cannot account for my loss yet.
A new wave of attack was recorded in December 2020, targeting pupils of Government Science Boys Secondary School in Kankara, where about 300 students were abducted by bandits. The attack was condemned by many, including the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Dr. Kaide Fayemi. He's called all concerned to take the issue of banditry seriously.
The security situation in the northwest and the entire country. This is almost a daily occurrence here. And the governor is spending the resources, both material and human, on this priority issue, which pervades the whole of our country. For us, the Nigerian Governors Forum, we believe that we not only have to be tough on banditry, on kidnapping, on criminality generally, but that we also have to be tough on the causes of these problems. And social inequality, poverty are key issues, and we need to be able to ensure that our government, our states, price away our young people from the merchants of death who are using them as cannon fodders for this criminal brigandage. And we can only do that if we provide them with alternative means of livelihood and support system that will not entice them to these elements that are endangering the whole of our country. And this is something that we are committed to as governors in working with Mr. President and working with all of our colleagues so that we don't keep talking about the same thing over and over again. We're all tired, we're all frustrated that these issues are happening. But we know that with concerted efforts on our part as governors and the commitment of the federal government and the professional conduct of our security services and our social investment program intensified, we shall see the end of this criminality, this brigandage in our state.
In the opinion of the Katsina state government, the security challenge is community-based. Hence, it introduced a local conflict resolution mechanism in view of extending an olive branch to the bandits.
totally rely on government or the security agencies that they are responsible to protect our lives and properties. We need to partner with them. We need to cooperate with them. We need to give them the relevant support, especially in terms of information, in terms of any resources, time resources, whatever resources that we can assist them. This is where the issue of this community policing comes in. And Nigeria has been advocating for community policing in theory, not in practice. The issue of community policing is partnership coming together between the government, the security agencies, and members of the community to secure themselves by themselves. Everybody has his own role to play. The security agencies don't have monopoly of the security, saying that we don't need assistance of anybody, we can handle security. No security agency can handle the issue of security anywhere in the world. They need to partner with the members of the community. They need to partner with the government. They need to partner with other organizations, civil society organizations, to see that our society or the lands are secured. So it's time for us to understand that we have to, and then obviously everybody is aware that the security agents, especially the police, are grossly inadequate as far as Nigeria is concerned.
The security situation is also impacting on agricultural production and food security. Benue State, known as the food basket of the nation and produces tons of food every year, as well as Zamfara, with more farmers now abandon their farms owing to the fear of being attacked.
The military and the civilian approach. The kinetic and non-kinetic approach. These approaches will continue to be used. So, without prejudice to all existing laws which regulate the prevention, arrest, and prosecution of criminal activities in Nigeria, the state government has resolved to continue to accept repentance from the bandits who decide to repent, because the state government feels this method is very, very important. Recently, it has served Nigeria. We all remember what happened when 344 students of a secondary school in Kaduna State, Kankara, were kidnapped. Dialogue played the superior role in ensuring their return to their families safely.
It's been a SAR experience in the northwest. There are reports that 4 local government areas in the central district of Kaduna State are under siege. In the southern part of the state, it's the same situation. Banditry and communal conflicts have displaced many people and hundreds have been killed.
We were sleeping at about midnight when we heard gunshots, and we came out and saw that our house was already on fire alongside others. I took my children to my mother-in-law's room. We were asked to come out, but we did not. They came close and used torchlights through the window. They saw me and fired a shot, which hit my hand.
The Staki people, they enter for us, they just kill my wife and shoot me for a hand.
At times we feel the response from the government is very slow. Over 1,000 people, 1,154 persons that are here, a very serious challenge here, especially about the crises that are ongoing in southern Kaduna.
The attacks are not limited to rural areas anymore, as there's been numerous kidnappings on major highways and in the state capital, making traveling on the 190-kilometer expressway linking the nation's capital to Abuja and Kaduna a dreaded one.
Kaduna State government and security agencies will continue to work very hard towards the protection of life and property, not only in Sabon Birni community, but across the state. Information is very key in this. Without information, you will find it very difficult to contain banditry. Bandits were massively hit by security agencies. So while fleeing, they eventually attacked the Kadai village. The unfortunate attack on innocent citizens led to loss of lives, destruction of properties. Some houses were burnt, and some vehicles as well as motorcycles.
Shortly after the New Year celebration, the Nigeria Air Force revamped its effort at launching offensive on bandits, particularly in Kaduna State. It launched its combat operation along the Abuja-Kaduna highway. Days after over 20 persons were killed in Chukun community, the state government set up a committee with a mandate to see through the activities of the bandits and come up with possible solution.
The problem of banditry and the insurgency has been around for a while. The governor of Niger State and I have more than 2.5 years ago presented what we felt was the solution to the problem of banditry, at least in our two states. And I think my advice to the new service chiefs is just to look at what has been recommended and what has been started by their predecessors and continue to do it, because in the last few months the Nigerian Army and the Air Force, as I said, particularly, and in Kaduna even the Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian Police have been quite proactive in fighting banditry. So what the service chiefs need to do is to build on the existing foundations and do better. Whenever you have new people, they come with renewed vigor and the focus to make a difference. So we hope that things will be even better. Informants are a problem, and I think it's up to our religious, traditional and community leaders to preach against their activities and also share intelligence with us very discreetly who are these informants, so that the security agents deal with them. Informants are the same as the bandits. You can charge them for conspiracy, for kidnapping, aiding and abetting. Even under existing laws, you can charge them and deal with them. But I think the whole issue is to try to even prevent it, rather, because by the time you arrest and prosecute them, the damage has been done. And I think this is where our legislators, our local government chairmen and councillors, traditional leaders, community leaders that are closer to the people can be of great help.
The government did not, however, stop at that. In a nationwide broadcast, the governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, appealed to members of more than 50 ethnic and religious groups in the state to embrace peaceful coexistence, while prevailing on other state governors to prioritize the security and protection of life.
I think what makes Kaduna State's situation unique and headline-grabbing is because of the injection of ethnic and religious connotations to the attacks and the clashes between the various ethnic groups. Kaduna State has 54 different ethnic groups, about 10% of Nigeria's total. It's a very diverse state, and it has had a long history of ethno-religious intolerance. So every criminal situation in Kaduna is given political, religious, and ethnic connotations, unfortunately. And thus, that complicates matters. That makes things more difficult to resolve, because religion, ethnicity, and politics are identity issues. They are very emotive, and people tend to lose their calm and their heads in situations like this. That's what complicates the situation. The elected officials from the southern part of the state have been quite irresponsible in not taking leadership position. They have allowed non-state actors and people living in Port Harcourt and Lagos to lead the narrative on the crisis there. And they have left the people that live there to suffer, and they only make press statements that are mostly not factual, and, in my humble opinion, totally irresponsible. All those that have been displaced are being looked after by our State Emergency Management Agency and the local government council. The state government is doing the best it can. In some cases, even the federal government through NEMA have been assisting. We want everyone to go back to his place of residence, and as soon as the military operations and the security operations make the places safe, they will go back.
It's not just the state governors that are concerned about the insecurity situation in the country. The Senate has added its voice to this. At the resumption of plenary, lawmakers are asking that insecurity be prioritized.
Mr. President, we're all in denial, especially government. And if we were not in denial, we would have declared insecurity a national emergency, the way we declared COVID a national emergency. Because if we had done that, we would have had multi-sectoral approach to tackling this insecurity. Right now, we are an endangered species. People are going into homes to abduct, to rape, to do all sorts. Herdsmen are everywhere. We have spoken severally and nothing has been done. Mr. President, posterity beckons because posterity will not forgive us. We are part of this system. We must do something drastic. We must declare insecurity a national emergency so that everybody starts to work on it as we're working on COVID.
Instead of general insecurity in Nigeria, should be the menace of Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria. I say so because not quite too long ago, the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, was reported to have said that out of every 10 kidnappers arrested, 7 or 8 are Fulani. In fact, in my own local government, in the recent past, almost all the kidnappers, the highway robbers that have been arrested were all Fulanis. So, Mr. President, we must face this fact that these people are being supported in high places.
Those attacking us as a country are not Nigerians. We have lived together for several years and there have not been issues like this. Definitely, there might be people from other tribes, maybe from Niger Republic and Chad. But I want to say this, Mr. President. There is need for us to even look at this country from another dimension. It is one of the plans of our great party to look into possibility of restructuring this country. And we have set up a committee that have worked on restructuring. And I believe the committee have submitted their report. This is one angle in which we should start looking at. And because inside this restructuring, there is security issue that has been discussed extensively, which borders on the state police. And I believe at this point in time, the creation and the establishment of state police, we should start looking in this direction. If truly we want to put an end to this security situation that has been affecting us as a country.
From Mr. President, down to the state governors, down to chairman of local government, and those of us who are elected, we have a duty to make our own contributions towards the understanding, mutuality of interest, mutuality of cohabitations in our country. We owe a duty as political leaders in our various communities. Mr. President, I find it difficult to believe in the 21st century that a governor of a state who has taken oath to protect, preserve and protect the Constitution of Nigeria, which embodies fundamental human rights, fundamental rights of residents, will come openly to ask people who are not indigenous of his state to leave his state on the pretext of something that they are doing. And their cost of law. We have cost of law to make determination on that.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to talk specifically on the matter of whether people were being sent away. No Nigerian is being sent away from anywhere. Criminals are being sent away from the forest where they are. And so, when we now come here and say, some people, after doing this thing and they're sending people away, you send the wrong message out. The message is simple. The police, IG, has told us these are criminal elements coming from outside Nigeria. And what we should ask ourselves is, if somebody is a criminal and he is in the forest, what is he doing inside there? And we want to paper over matters of this nature to please whatever. What we want to say is simple. We either want to solve this problem, and in order to solve the problem, the desideratum is that all criminal elements that are coming into this country from wherever they are must be flushed out. Simply CETA.
The military, however, did not lose in its efforts at curbing the excesses of bandits in the northwest region. In some of its major steps in 2020, about 300 combatant female soldiers from the Nigerian Army Women Corps were drafted to be part of the Operation Thunder Strike, which is presently working to flush out bandits, kidnappers and other criminal elements in Kaduna and other surrounding states. The Kaduna state government says it is engaging more hands through the community policing system. The efforts seem to be paying off. In January, troops rescued some kidnapped women in Kaduna, but just days after that news, 23 persons came under the fire of the bandits. Talks and debate are on to find possible solution to banditry. In a conference recently, Professor Yahaya Tukur of the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, explained that insecurity has impacted negatively on the nation and has resulted in economic downturn, displacement of human population, loss of lives, and proliferation of small and light weapons. He notes that all these combine to undermine the progress and development of the region.
The foremost function of a state, of a government, is to provide security. It's primarily for government. So if government is unable to provide security to its citizens, then forget about any other aspect of development. The economy won't grow. There won't be stability. There won't be that social cohesion. The society will be disintegrated. And if you don't take care, that the government will even lose control of the space it claims. It's a territory that it has absolute control over it. The sovereignty of the state will fade, and those bandits, those criminals, those gangs that are operating in the hinterland, in the rural areas, they will soon come to the town and take over spaces that are even right now. The highways are not safe. The rural areas are not safe. The highways are not safe. Even people are not safe in their own homes. So I think we need to address the very basic issues. It's not about, a security issue, but it's also a human security issue, meaning that poverty, unemployment, inequality are the major source of insecurity.
Other solutions in sight are that of the Zamfara state government, which has been welcoming repentant bandits and other retrieval of weapons. The latest being the 6 repentant bandits to surrender 20 AK-47 rifles, 20 magazines, 1 general-purpose machine gun, 1 rocket-propelled grenade, and several ammunitions to the state government, owing to the peace initiatives introduced by Governor Bello Matawali to bring an end to banditry. The repentant bandits vow with the Holy Quran never to return to their old ways. This action has been commended by security agencies in the state.
On behalf of the security community in Zamfara State and the service commanders in particular, we want to commit our loyalty to the governor and the program on peace process as enunciated by this government. We shall do our best to fasten the process and assist the government to deepen what is happening, and we enjoin other bandits and non repentant individuals elsewhere to follow the Zamfara example, submit arms, and accept peace and live a new life.
In spite of this, there's still an obvious need to support the fight against banditry in the country to succeed in restoring peace and enable residents have a stable and secured community. Well, that's it for this episode of the program. Please remember that we are always happy to hear from you. I'm Ini John Mekwa.